capacity crowd of better than 18,000 have made their way to the SBC Center in San Antonio, Texas, as we welcome you to Premier Week on TNT from the Alamo City, the home of the reigning NBA champions. The Suns and the Spurs will be tipping.
Danny Ferry. Steve Kerr. Tony Parker. Manu Ginobili. And Series MVP, Tim Duncan. And now, ladies and gentlemen, Tim Duncan.
Just want to say a quick thank you. Thank you for your support year in and year out. It's because of you guys we're here now. Hopefully you'll be with us this season, and we'll make another run at it. Thank you.
Tim Duncan.
A backcourt of all-star Stephon Marbury and Joe Johnson, who beat out Penny Hardaway for the starting job. Johnson, the one-time Boston Celtic. Up front, Sean Marion, Jake Foskell, the starting center. Jake in his fourth year out of the University of Connecticut. And the Rookie of the Year, Amari Stoudemire, at the other forward position. For the San Antonio Spurs, as we discussed earlier, this is a new look, a revamped lineup. Anthony Carter, formerly of the Miami Heat, starting for the injured Tony Parker out with a sprained left ankle. Manu Ginobili at the other guard position. Bruce Bowen, Rasho Nesterovic, the one-time Timberwolf, and the league's MVP, Tim Duncan, on the front line. Spurs went 4-4 in the preseason. The Suns went 2 up and 6 down. Both clubs are warming up, getting ready for opening night here at the SBC Center. And we're set to check in with Craig Sager. Craig?
Well, Robert Horry joins the Spurs this year with a handful of rings of his own, 2 with Houston and 3 with LA. He says this is the best spot for him to get a 6th. Like many, he was a little amused by the latest feud between Kobe and Shaq. He said this one is different. In the past, it may have left a few scars, but he thought that Kobe's stunning criticism may open a very big wound in that team. He also says he doesn't believe a team of all-stars is the way to win an NBA championship. He said in 1970-78, the Lakers had 4 all-stars, Nick Van Exel, Eddie Jones, Kobe, and Shaq. He said the season was a disaster. They got swept by Utah in the playoffs. The next year, they added an MVP from the All-Star game, Glenn Rice. They got swept that year by San Antonio 4-0. So he doesn't like the fact that the Lakers added all those players. He says they're going to miss role players like himself, and he says the Spurs will give him his 6th ring, which will give him 1 more than Steve Kerr.
All right, Craig. Robert Horry, one of the great clutch playoff shooters in the history of the league, although last season did have his problems. In fact, at one point he missed 18 straight three-pointers in the postseason. The officials, Steve Javie, Derek Stafford, and Kevin Fair. And we're ready to go. The NBA's opening night. Miami is playing at Philadelphia. And in the second of our doubleheader will be the Los Angeles Lakers and the Dallas Mavericks. The Phoenix Suns, last season, 44-38 in the playoffs. They lost to the Spurs 4-2 in the opening round. Although the Spurs will not forget the Suns win in Game 1 in that overtime. The buzzer beater by the man who has the basketball, Stephon Marbury. This is Amari Stoudemire being played by Rasho Nesterovic. Sean Marion facing the double. And Joe Johnson gets it down low. Here's Foskell. And back comes Carter. So San Antonio to the offense for the first time. Duncan had it knocked away and batted out of bounds by Johnson.
Well, let's remember that part of the reason Phoenix has success last year is they go after Tim Duncan when he catches the ball, and I mean hard. There's no soft traps down there. They front him, they double team him, but whatever it is, it's hard and physical.
And that's why it's going to be very important for the Spurs to hit some outside shots tonight, like maybe that one from Manu Ginobili. Maybe not.
Steve, are you okay following the ring ceremony as Marbury is able to drill it? Will that affect your broadcast?
Marv, very few things give me goosebumps, other than, of course, being next to the Czar, but that certainly did.
That was a tremendous opening ceremony. It really was.
Awesome.
It's just so well done. It was just sensational.
Marbury changed his mind. Here's Stoudemire. And Duncan handles. Ginobili to the crossover. And a traveling violation is called on Anthony Carter.
Right now, Phoenix is starting what we would call the conventional team. A center, a power forward, and Stoudemire, a small forward, Marion, and the 2 guards in the backcourt. But they had all that success last year when they went small. Don't be surprised when Frank Johnson makes his substitutions and winds up with his small team on the floor if this team is not doing well.
Johnson, Ginobili got a piece of it. 5 on the shot clock. We're just underway here in San Antonio. In a long preseason for the Spurs, a preseason that included that trip to Paris, France. Here's Johnson getting inside. Johnson missed the tip. And Carter fires down. Ginobili could not get to it.
I think Anthony Carter's got a big task ahead of him. How'd you like to come over here and all of a sudden opening night, you're facing Stephon Marbury, but Tony Parker we're seeing there who's out. He had a tough enough time with Marbury last year. It's going to be hard enough for Anthony Carter as well.
But it's not like Carter doesn't come from a team that had no defensive principles. Down in Miami, you know they stress defense as the little floater rolls in for Marbury.
His championship ring, and Steve, you were talking a moment ago about the pressure on Rasho Nestarovic, 6-year player out of Slovenia, who is replacing David Robinson.
Well, we look at the numbers here. Obviously, Rasho's a better scorer than David was a year ago, but to me, those numbers don't point to what the real problem could be for the Spurs, and that is a defensive presence. I think Rasho's defense this year could be one of the keys to the Spurs season, and to replace David will be very difficult in that regard.
And a sloppy start for San Antonio. That's 7 turnovers in 12 possessions, and Marion is able to take advantage.
You know, one of the things that happens with championship teams is they generally get off to good starts when the next season happens, but this is such a brand new team that we're seeing a team that's totally out of sync, got so many new faces. And Greg Popovich told us today in the meeting he didn't expect this to be a team that was going to pick up where the Spurs left off in June.
Well, it's hard when you have so many new pieces, Steve. They've added so many new guys trying to learn the system. And we talked about coming hard at Duncan. That time, 3 Phoenix players came at Duncan when he touched it in the post.
Ginobili from downtown. Also, you have to wonder, or certainly it's very early in the game, but you wonder about the effect in going through the emotions of the championship ring ceremony and what that can do to a team, at least at the start of a game.
Well, I know as Marbury knocks down the 3-pointer and puts the Spurs in a huge hole, I know with the Bulls, we always had a lot of trouble on ring nights. It's just an emotional time. You go through this great ceremony, then all of a sudden you have to play the game. It's tough.
Carter not able to hit. And here comes Marbury. The lead pass intended for Stoudemire. Duncan, he was blocked. Greg Popovich on the floor, upset. And he's fortunate there was not a technical foul call. He was looking for a foul. And now a tee is called on Greg Popovich, and you better be careful. Derek Stafford teed him up.
Well, Pop wanted that technical foul. He knew once he came out on the floor that the official had to hit him. The official did a good job by allowing Phoenix to continue to see if they were going to get their fast break opportunity and score. Once they missed it and the rebound was secured, then he awarded the technical. Here's the play that Popovich was very upset about. Duncan, as he starts to go up with the ball, Popovich felt that there was contact there. From our angle, it looks like it's a pretty good, that's all ball right there. There's no body, it's ball, good block, good call.
I thought he may have been pushed beforehand, but if you're Tim Duncan, you have to like the fact that your coach is standing up for you and taking the technical. And very often, as you know, Marv, the next play down, Tim's likely to get a call.
San Antonio just 1 of 9 from the field. Ron Mercer has come on for Anthony Carter. Another Spurs turnover. Bosco from Marion. Nicely done. 7 turnovers committed by San Antonio.
And San Antonio last year was about 23rd in the league in turnovers, just under 16 per game. Here they have 7 already in the first quarter.
The Suns 16 and the Spurs 2. Bowen is fouled, took the shoulder from Marion.
This has been a carbon copy of some of the playoff games that we had with Phoenix last year. Turnovers, missed shots, which ultimately lead to Phoenix fast breaks. They're so long and athletic that if there is a loose ball or a long rebound, they're gone, and it's a layup at the other end.
Steve, correct me if I'm wrong, but last year, the Spurs really didn't get their act together until around December. That's when you started to play your best basketball.
And Tim Duncan ends a 12-0 Phoenix run.
Well, you're right, and I think a big part of it was much like this year's team. The Spurs last year had a lot of new faces, and it takes time. This is a long journey, and I know Greg Popovich is not happy right now, but he understands this is a long process, and it's going to take this team quite a while to get used to each other, much like last year's team.
Offensive foul, illegal pick was set to the ball back to the Spurs. The foul called on Voskuhl. And now Hedo Turkoglu will make his San Antonio debut. Coming out from Manu Ginobili. Rick Popovich telling us earlier that this is not the team returning to defend a championship. This is a new team following a team that won a championship.
It looks like it too, doesn't it?
And a loose ball foul is called. It is on Malik Rose, who just came on. So San Antonio now with Duncan up front, along with Rose and Bowen, Mercer and Turkoglu in the backcourt, and Frank Johnson has
Sean Marion, and that's where he's injured.
All right, and for more on Sean's status, let's go to Craig.
Well, it was the elbow he caught in the head, but he told trainer Aaron Nelson what really bothered him was his head snapped back. So they've taken him out of the game right now to check on it, but he felt his head got snapped back along with the elbow in the head.
All right, here's Stoudemire. And Tim Duncan hands it off to Ron Mercer. Spurs are trailing 16-4 with just under 4 minutes remaining in this first quarter.
Well, one of the other things we see with Tony Parker out and not starting, Anthony Carter was supposed to be the backup. You got Ron Mercer as the backup point guard now.
Beautiful post up by Rose against the powerful Stoudemire, was trying to keep him away.
Malik is so important to this team, such an energy guy, infuses the team with enthusiasm, as we see Marbury knock down another three. But Malik is going to be big tonight. This team is, and this crowd is lacking some energy. He's going to have to help pick this team up.
Marbury has hit 5 of 6. He has 12 points. See Rose facing the double team, but he found the open man, Ron Mercer. Able to bury that jump shot. Suns 19 and the Spurs 8. And the ball was deflected out by the Spurs. So Phoenix will maintain possession. Now Anthony Carter makes his return, coming on for Bruce Bowen.
Here's Marbury on the penetration. You see him trying to make the pass across court, and Bowen clearly deflects the ball out of bounds. Good call by the officials.
Žarko Čebarkova, rookie out of Serbia, goes 6'11", 235 pounds, has come on for the first time, and Marbury is on fire. 6 for 7 from the field. He has 14 points.
What a nightmare defensively to have to cover Stephon Marbury when he's knocking down shots. There's nothing you can do with him.
Mercer with the step. Nice play by Marbury to tip it to Johnson. Johnson, Marbury, Čebarkova, and Stoudemire. The Phoenix Suns controlling the offensive glass. They now lead it 21-8.
And there you see the athleticism again. 3 or 4 players seemingly on the glass all the time, up near the rim, finishing plays. Very athletic team.
Phoenix is attacking the offensive boards. There you see the follow-up, and it looks like it's Joe Johnson that gets his hand in there on the follow. Again, there's the hand. Joe Johnson from sneaking in inside his teammate.
Foul called on Čebarkova, a first-round pick of the Phoenix Suns. Shot clock down to 5. Carter. Anthony Carter with his first field goal. Carter signed as a free agent after 4 years with Miami. Guy who was not drafted, played in the CBA, played his college ball at Hawaii. Penny Hardaway has come on for the first time tonight. That's his first shot.
Then the little floater down the lane. And finally, stepping back, gets a wide open look at the basket in all 12 minutes of the first quarter. He goes 6 for 8 from the floor, 14 points for Stephon Marbury.
Stephon in his 8th season out of Georgia Tech. Last year averaged 22 a game, played solid defense all around. Superb season. And seems to play his best against the league's best point guards.
And he's found a home now in Phoenix. I know he had a lot of turmoil in New Jersey, but it's great to see him happy, and he's got a new contract. I could use a loan, Stephon. Maybe I'll talk to him later, but he's really very comfortable now and playing at an incredibly high level.
Second quarter is underway. The Spurs opened up the game just 1 for 9 from the field. And since then, 6 of 9 since Rose and Mercer came in. And a loose ball foul is called. Steve Javy calling it on Turkoglu.
I think Javy was going to let this call go, but you can see Turkoglu a little bit over the back.
And a foul. A kick ball is called. Phoenix, incidentally, 3 for 13 in this quarter. And apparently a foul was called on Jacobson.
This will give us a chance to watch Bruce Bowen at the foul line. Has struggled so much. In fact, last year shot better from the three-point line than the foul line. My guess is that was the first time that's ever been done in NBA history. I always felt part of the problem was Bruce went to the line so infrequently that he never was able to get comfortable and get a rhythm. And you know, he's got some technical flaws, but a big part of it with Bruce is just getting comfortable at the line.
Well, Don Nelson made certain that Bruce went to the line quite a bit.
And I think during that series, Bruce shot about 65%. Actually shot it much better than he did in the regular season, and part of that was all the repetition.
Yes, he was 40% during the season. And Anthony Carter struggling with the shot. Suns up by 4. They've led by as many as 15, and here is Marbury. Stephon Marbury, 8 of 10, 18 points.
Guy's incredible. I mean, is there anything he can't do? When he's shooting that shot, what can you do as a defender?
You hope that you turn him into a jump shooter, and then when he goes 8 for 10 from the floor, you start thinking about it.
I see why Tony Parker took the night off.
Nice touch by Mercer. Marbury handling very casually. Out of 2, out of 1. Here's Marbury for 3.
He missed.
I'm not sure that Greg Popovich is real happy with Robert Horry showing and then getting back to his man and forgetting who had the ball for the last shot.
Well, Stephon Marbury, 8 of 11 from the field, 10 points, also had 5 rebounds. The rest of the Suns shot 8 for 32. They led by as many as 15. They have the 4-point lead here at the half. Let's go to Craig and Stephon Marbury.
Well, Steph, the Spurs celebrate their world championship and they have a hard time getting into a rhythm. What were you and your teammates doing during that long period?
We're just trying to play hard, smart, and together. We're rebounding the ball so we're able to run. Trying to limit Tim Duncan touches.
You're an all-star, but you always seem to play so well against the Spurs. Why?
I just play, man. I just hoop. I don't go out and do nothing else. I just hoop.
But you do it so well against them.
I love playing basketball. I love playing against the Spurs. I love being in this building.
All right, thanks a lot, Marv.
Steve, you ever tell anybody you just hoop?
I thought he said, I just hope. I used to just hope.
Among teammates and staff. But were you sitting back watching Kobe and Shaq kind of, bickering at each other and going, what did I get myself into?
Well, you go get yourself into something every team you go to. But it's good to get myself into these two guys. These two guys are great basketball players, that opportunity for us to do some special things. And we've been hearing about it every year. You know, when I was with Seattle, I heard about it all the time. Now I'm firsthand. You know, it's not as bad as people think it is. You know, it's just two superstars. You know, one a little territory, and that's okay. And now me and Carl are here, and we're older than these guys, and you know we'll bring it to a settled thing, you know, and that's what we're doing. And everybody got in, like I said today, talked it out, and got everything off their chest. And once you get stuff off your chest, and then you think that you can say something to somebody, it's better that way.
Quiet first half for Tim Duncan. Tim attempting only 4 shots, 2 of 4 from the field. Phoenix has led by as many as 15 points. They opened up with a 16-2 lead, extended it to 23-8. San Antonio was able to move within 2, and as this third quarter gets underway, they are down by 4.
Marv, you mentioned 2 for 4 for Tim Duncan. Well, the reason is because Phoenix comes at him so hard. They're determined to make somebody else have to make shots to beat him. It's not going to be Tim Duncan, so they keep flying 2 people, 3 people at him in the double and triple teams. As a result, he has to pass out, or else he's going to be forcing shots.
And it's been a sloppy night for the Spurs. That was their 14th turnover. Stoudemire, Amari Stoudemire, last season's Rookie of the Year. With his 3rd field goal, he has 6 points.
Well, not only is it a slow start for Tim Duncan, but Manu Ginobili, who's probably the Spurs' 2nd best player on the floor, 0 for 3, 3 fouls, 14 minutes. This is a guy who is going to be a star, but tough start to his season tonight.
Shot clock to 5. Carter. Anthony Carter, prior to that field goal, 1 of 7 from the field. San Antonio shot 41% in the first half, 14 of 34. Carter on the foul. And Phoenix, after the sizzling start, slow down, 16 of 43. They end up just 37% from the field in the first half. Now Ron Mercer has checked back, coming on from Manu Ginobili. Roscoe sets the pick. Marbury, played by Carter. Here's Stoudemire, putting moves on Duncan, had nowhere to go, no angle, able to rebound and stuffs.
Forget that jump shot. Let me just get the offensive rebound and throw it.
In the third, Jabarkova. Now Mercer and Ginobili in the backcourt. Duncan, though, gets it down low to Rose. Assist for Tim Duncan on the bucket by Malik Rose. Phoenix up by 5. Jabarkova lost it. Rose with the steal. Beautiful give and go between Rose and Mercer. San Antonio within 3.
This is a young Phoenix team, and Frank Johnson's going to have to live with some of the mistakes that the young players will make as they grow and develop in the league.
Down to 40 seconds remaining in the third quarter.
Spurs can play for a 2 for 1 here.
Mercer gets the roll.
Exactly what they did. They took the quick shot there. Now they'll dig in, try and get the defense to stop, and then come back down and take the last shot of the quarter.
And Greg Popovich will now put his team into a zone. Something a lot of coaches will now do at the end of quarters, try to take away the team's favorite end of quarter plays.
8-0 run for San Antonio. Shot clock down to 3. Hardaway. San Antonio can take the lead for the first time. Final seconds of the third quarter. Here's Mercer and the shot blocked.
The pull-up jumper by Barkley falls with 1.6 seconds remaining, and San Antonio uses their final timeout, down by 2. What else can Charles Barkley do?
5 in about a minute. Here's Johnson, and that is his first field goal. He missed his previous 9 shots.
Such a tough thing opening night when you have a tough game. You're a young player. You're just in the starting lineup for the first time in your career. Good to see Joe Johnson finally knock down a shot and get himself going a little bit.
Here's Duncan. It counts. And the foul. So Duncan heads to the line. Voskuhl collects his 5th foul. Phoenix up by 3.
There's Duncan stepping in, splits the double team, hits the basket. Now an opportunity to go to the line for a 3-point play. No tight double team and open look fast.
He is lightning fast. Kind of reminds me of the Matrix.
That'd be a great nickname. That was deflected short. Did you come up with that?
Yeah, I did. Have you heard that before?
First time I heard it.
Timeout called with 2:43 remaining. 2.5 remaining on the 4th. Remarkable, not able to hit at the open shot. Anthony Carter is back. Carter and Ginobili now in the backcourt. Duncan up front along with Horry and Bowen. Duncan, yes. Stephon Marbury hits on 1 of 2, and the Suns lead 82-79. We're down to 1:20 remaining here in the 4th. Here's the double on Duncan. Bowen, nice move. Went to the left hand. At first, it appeared he'd shoot the 3, but he took it to the rim. Phoenix with a 1-point lead, under 1 minute remaining in the 4th. The steal by Horry. Suns have a foul to give.
You take a timeout right now to make sure you get the shot you want. That's the question.
And the foul is called on Voskuhl. That's not the foul that they had in mind. That's number 6 on Jake Voskuhl.
Mark, my point was that this critical part in the game with all these new guys on the floor, do you take a timeout right there so you make sure you get a high percentage?
43.8 remaining in the 4th quarter, 17 on the shot clock. And the Suns have an 82-81 lead.
Here's what San Antonio is going to do. They're going to put the ball in Duncan's hands and play off of him. You know that Phoenix is going to come and double team him hard. So the key is get your other 4 players in the position that on rotations, and when you pass the ball, you wind up with one of your best guys shooting the ball at the end. Like you wouldn't mind an open Robert Horry, for example, to have a shot at the end.
But if you're Phoenix, you want Anthony Carter to shoot this shot, and I think Anthony's going to have to be ready to shoot right here.
All right, Carter passed on the outside shot, went to the drive, and last touched by Phoenix. Frank Johnson very upset. Just prior to that timeout, Jake Voskuhl fouled out. He's been replaced by Tom Gugliotta, second Phoenix Sun player to foul out. He joins Amari Stoudemire on the sideline. Carter, meanwhile, 0 for 3 from the field here in the 4th quarter.
I'm kind of surprised not to see Ron Mercer in the game right now. You're almost guaranteed to have to shoot an outside shot because, as you said, Mike, Tim Duncan's going to get double teamed. Somebody's going to be open. Carter struggled a little bit tonight. I think you got to put some shooters in.
I think it would be a great move to put a Mercer in because he seems to be playing well right now. You know that they're leaving Carter open every time. Mercer's not going to be afraid to shoot, elevate, and shoot the jumper.
All right, here is Duncan giving it up. Bowen, rebounded by Carter. And Carter scored to give San Antonio a 1-point lead. The Suns call for time.
Here, and nobody's over there because they don't care if the pass goes to him in the corner. So what's he do? He crashes the offensive boards and makes the layup to put him in the lead.
And overall, San Antonio has had the lead here tonight for a total of 18 seconds. They're up by 1 point. Phoenix has led virtually all the way. There's a 4-second differential between the game clock and the shot clock as Marbury works it down against Carter. Marbury to the fadeaway. Kept alive by Marbury. Fires. Kept alive by Hardaway. He shoots. And time has run out on the Phoenix side. A wild finish here in San Antonio. The Spurs on opening night have defeated the Suns 83-82.
Very much, and the two most intriguing team stories